Welcome back everybody, and if you are new here, welcome to my channel, Gochujang Mamá. I like to post all sorts of recipe videos weekly. Today I'm doing carne asada to make carne asada tortas. You can use this meat for tacos, but today I'm going to be making a delicious Mexican style sandwich, and here's how I do it. Okay, to get started, I'm using 2.5 pounds of beef. This is inside skirt steak and it is very tough. This is why I'm going to marinate this overnight. If you don't have the time to marinate overnight, use something more tender like ribeye steak, flank steak, or something on the outside of the beef around the skirt, which is a lot more tender. So I'm trimming off this membrane part of the beef skirt, and then I'm going to score it in a crosshatch, and that's just going to give me those nice little charred bits on the exterior when I cook this. So after preparing my beef skirt, I'm going to prepare the marinade. Here I have 8 ounces of fresh squeezed orange juice. To that I'm adding a 1/4 cup of fresh squeezed lime juice. I'm also going to add salt and pepper to taste. Technically I like to use Lawry seasoning all seasoned salt, but salt works. I'm also using a teaspoon of granulated onion and garlic powder and 1 tablespoon of Maggi seasoning sauce. If you don't have Maggi, you could use soy sauce. I do it all the time and it works great. So now I'm just going to give this a good mix and my marinade is ready. So now I have a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and I've cut my meat into manageable pieces. So now I'm just going to do a layering of the meat, some onion, 1 clove of garlic. Ultimately, I used 1 small to medium-sized onion that I've sliced and 3 cloves of garlic that I peeled and kind of gave them a mash, but I'm going to leave them whole. And all I'm going to do is just layer that with some marinade in between, and that is how I'm going to set this in the refrigerator overnight to marinate. Again, if you do not have the time to do a long marination process and you want a more tender cut of meat, do that. That definitely works. And if you're using something more tender, probably 2 hours of marinating time definitely works. I've poured all of the marinade into the bag, I've layered everything, and now I'm just going to squeeze out all the air and make sure that the meat is completely submerged with the marinade, and I'm going to put this in the refrigerator overnight. Now let's talk about what I'm going to use to make these tortas. Okay, so today I'm going to be using pan bolillo, which is basically a French bread roll, and I'm just going to slice them in the middle and butter both sides, and I'll be toasting that on the griddle. I will also be using some refried beans on my torta today, and this is just leftover charro beans that I had in the refrigerator. I've added them to a preheated pan with oil, and I'm just going to mash them and make them basically refried beans with a creamy consistency because I want to be able to spread this on my sandwich. I'm also going to be using some Mexican style cream or sour cream on my sandwich today. By the way, if you'll see, they sell 2 similar cremas. One is sour cream, which is very tangy. The other one is basically cream. So it's up to you what you want to use. And if you can't find those, just use sour cream and maybe thin it out with some water to get a runnier consistency, or maybe add milk. It's up to you. I will also be using cheese. Here I have some Oaxaca melting cheese. You could use that, or I have some leftover mozzarella cheese from a recipe I did the other day, so I'm probably going to use the shredded mozzarella cheese first, and that works. It's definitely, again, your choice. I also have some leftover salsa, so that's going on my torta as well, and I will be using fresh lettuce, tomato, and avocado. So basically, long story short, the toppings are definitely up to you. Okay, my meat has been marinating overnight, so I am going to let it set on my counter for around 20 minutes, just so I don't have super cold meat going on a hot griddle. You'll want to do that, and I will be removing it from this bag and marinade. I'm not going to just pour all of it onto the griddle. You'll want to remove it. Okay, so now I'm ready to start cooking this meat. I'm going to preheat my cast iron griddle on a medium heat, and I want to show you, I'm not going to preheat it on high, so I have it right at the middle setting on my stove, and I'm going to preheat it for around 5 minutes or so. Now my griddle is preheated, so I'm going to add several tablespoons of oil to the griddle. I'm going to spread it around, and now I'm going to start to cook my meat. Now, I will be cooking this probably somewhere between medium well, not well done because there will be a little pink in the middle, but you'll want to cook your meat to your desired doneness. So if you want something medium rare, that's up to you. I'm going to try to cook this all the way through. And because I'm using a cast iron griddle, I have my griddle preheated to a medium high heat. I'm going to get a lot of charring and extra flavor on this carne asada. So here we go. I'm going to speed things up a bit and show you how I cook it. Okay, so my meat is done and I'm going to let it rest for at least 15 to 20 minutes. In the meantime, I am going to be sauteing onion and start toasting my pan bolillo, my French rolls, and then I'm really going to start building this torta. Okay, so I've added my beans and cheese. Now I'm going to slice up my rested carne asada, and I'm just going to thinly slice it. And if you do not want any pink in the center, you can toss it sliced right back on the griddle and cook it a little bit more, but this is fine. So once I've sliced it, I'm going to add it right on top of the beans and cheese. I'm also going to be adding those delicious sauteed grilled onions. And at this point, now it's time to paint the perfect picture in the style of torta. So you are only limited by your imagination. The torta of your dreams awaits you. Pile whatever condiments you want on it. If you want salsa, if you want tapatio sauce, if you don't want any of this, do what you like. You're only limited by what you have in your fridge and in your kitchen. By the way, if you guys like mayo on your sandwiches, then add it. I'm going to slather this last side with beans, top it, give it a little mash so it doesn't fall apart, and dig in. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.